Guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. And you know it's going to be a great video and a great knife when you have this logo on the box. So this is a knife I've been pretty excited about since I was first introduced to it. All of our favorite overly enthusiastic YouTube reviewer Metal Complex shared one of these a while back. The other place that I initially found out about this knife was in Rick Hinderer's discussion at Blade, I think 2020. So what we have here is the Hinderer Emmett in the Bowie blade shape. And way back then in Rick's initial video, he said that there would be a few blade shapes available here. Up to now, I think this will be part of the second run, maybe the third run. Let's go with second run. This will be part of the second run. And it's still in a Bowie shape, which is fine because I do think this knife looks absolutely fantastic in the Bowie blade shape. Really enjoy this a lot. Very Hinderer stylistically here. You could look at this and pretty much know what it is without me even having to say anything. Of course, part of that would be the giant horse logo and the sticker you already saw. But even if you were looking at it from this side, I think most people would go, that's almost like a fixed blade XM18. And it really, it definitely has that feel to it. And since I'm quite a big fan of the XM18, this knife makes a lot of sense to me. Also, let me add that I'm a big fan of fixed blades in around this size. I love to carry a fixed blade that's right around that 8-inch mark. I just find that, for actual cutting tasks, apart from kitchen work, okay, that it's just the nicest size. It's more usable. It's more comfortable to manipulate when you're doing any kind of working task with a knife. Let me get the XM18 out of the way. Maybe I'll bring it back at the end. So let's just keep it on the table. Anyway, so I've got this knife. I mean, I saw this knife. I was really excited about it. And, they went so fast. And in fact, even the second run went pretty quickly as well. But I was fortunate enough to notice that Justin over at White Mountain Knives had some. And as soon as I did, I just sent him an email saying, hey, send me one over. Now, I didn't ask too many questions. The only thing I asked for was, please, any handle color except for black. I really wanted either this or the sort of burgundy looking micarta. I didn't ask about anything else. And so with that said, I didn't know what the sheath was going to be like. I've seen some with Kydex sheaths and I've seen some with leather sheaths. And I have to say the leather is beautiful. And so, well, I don't think I would have been disappointed with a Kydex sheath. I'm pretty happy that this is the sheath that came with it. Just take a look at that. Really nicely done. In Hinderer's discussion of these knives on at Blade Show, he pointed out that he has some Mennonites who are local to him doing the leather work for these sheaths. And I have to say, just the coloring and the overall quality is really spectacular. This is a first impressions, but I have to admit, when I first got this in the mail, I quickly ran inside. Wasn't wearing a belt that day, but I did run inside, get a belt, and put this right on my belt. So I have carried this for a few hours, even though this is still a first impressions. Let me move on from the sheath. This is a gorgeous package. So I have to say that right off the hop, absolutely spectacular. I'm pretty excited to have this leather sheath rather than the Kydex, which again, I like Kydex, and I don't think it would be a problem other than to say it just wouldn't be nearly as impressive and beautiful as the leather is. Okay, so let's do a quick rundown here on the features. I guess I should have looked up a couple of these things first of all, but what we have up front here is a 20 CV blade, flat grind, Bowie blade shape. Take a look at the stonewash. Hold on, there we go. Take a look at the stonewash finish there. Really nice looking. semi-polished stonewash. I have to say I'm pretty impressed by that. Very comfortable micarta handle here. To me, I'm probably wrong. I should have looked this up, but I'm going to call this canvas micarta as opposed to linen. It's just a little more coarse. And so that coarseness to me is indicating that it's canvas micarta, and it's just sort of a plain tan color. Really, really nice looking handle here. Really, the whole package, is very, very cool. Certainly is Hinderer-esque. I love the fact that they used the Hinderer attachments or the Hinderer hardware here. So, it just looks like, a typical Hinderer pivot, but it's holding these scales on. I guess that would give you the option of switching out these scales to something else, but I'm not sure why you'd want to do that. Certainly, it's not something I plan to do. Lanyard hole here in case you need it. Knife this size and for this purpose, I really don't see that being an important aspect. I will say I kind of wish I had this for hunting season this year. I think this would have been a really nice option for skinning out and even boning the deer that I shot. Nonetheless, it came now, and maybe I'll get a chance to use it next year or for some other hunting skinning job throughout the year, throughout the winter. So let me give you a quick rundown on size and weight, and then my sort of general overall impression. Actually, I will give you a couple quick comparisons too, even though I don't normally do that. This is a little bit of a cooler knife than I am normally giving you first impressions on. So I'll spend a little more time with it. So 8 9/16 overall. Really, really nice size as far as I'm concerned. 3 13/16 on the blade shape, 3 3/4 inches of cutting edge. I will point out here that the big difference, or one of the big differences between this and the XM, is no finger choil. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I would have liked to see, I am. I would have liked to see a finger choil here. You wouldn't have had to lose much blade length. And it would have meant that this little thumb swale, which is up here and does work really well, would have had to been moved ahead, right? So it kind of would land around here. And I'm just pretending, right? I'm being pretty careful not to cut myself. So I think that would have been a nice touch. But even as it stands, this is really, really well done. And ergonomically, it feels so natural in hand. If you've handled, an XM18, you know how good they feel in hand. And this is even a little bit better because of the milling or the contouring on that micarta handle. And of course, micarta always feels really, really good in hand as well. It does have that option to move your thumb up and sort of extend it out to do some sort of finer stuff. And it's hand filling enough. This is one of the things I always check, especially with fixed blades. To me, there's a greater chance with a fixed blade, excuse me, greater chance with a fixed blade that you're going to be doing harder cutting tasks. And so I like to do this little wiggle test to see how much movement is there. And there's not a whole lot. This is pretty hand filling, and you can really get a hold of it and sort of bear down. The other thing I wanted to just quickly show you is the cutting power on this because of that thinner grind. So this blade is only 19 thousandths behind the edge. Compare that to your typical XM18, which is going to be more like, 30 thousandths. 29, I think, was the last time I measured. And I could be, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm kind of talking off the top of my head there. But that nice thin grind, I thought I would just do a quick couple little cuts there, and it does bite right in. And if we put an XM18 side by side, you can feel that very slight difference between those. It's not substantial, but it is there. And I will say, the geometry on the fixed blade is very, very nice. So I don't want to belabor that. This is not the full review, but I thought I'd just quickly throw it in there. The big comparison to me is to what is my all-time favorite fixed blade, and that is going to be the Lion Steel M4. Now I'm going to spend some time with both of these. The M4 is obviously considerably less expensive, so that is something to keep in mind, but I am going to spend a little time with both of these, and I may even do a full review just because, or I mean a full comparison, not because I think people are going to won't be looking at a direct comparison between the two, but for my own um, to work through my own thoughts about these two knives, because I really really like both of them. For me, the XM18, it's the artistry of it, it's the style of it, it's the fact that I love Rick Hinderer and his knives. All of those things kind of come into my opinion of this knife, where this is sort of just a standalone knife that I appreciate for its own reasons, and it does have some features that are very very good. So we'll talk about that probably in a future video. Um, just to kind of let you in on that. So we've done a little bit of a comparison between the XM18 3.5 inch. We've done a little comparison between this and the Line Steel M4, just to kind of give you a bit of a sense for what you're getting if you're familiar with those. I have to say, the love is pretty strong for this knife. So you're getting unfiltered enthusiasm here, not to the extent that Metal Complex maybe delivers it, but I do like this knife an awful lot. I just find it beautiful. It feels great in hand. It's, to me, a really, really nicely balanced cutting tool, and one that I can see getting a lot of use out of. And so I will come back with a full review and discussion of this knife. That'll probably be in the outdoors. I usually do those fixed blade videos outside, and I plan to put it through some use outside as well. So be looking for that. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out White Mountain Knives, which is where I got this. I'm sorry they don't have any left, but keep an eye over there. Justin has been getting some Hinderer stuff, so it's worth watching and checking in for fairly frequently to pick some of that stuff up and use my discount code SHARPSTUFF. Thanks a lot again. We'll talk to you soon.